Hello everyone, I hope you are wonderful today. What I wanted to bring you is a quick sneakus peekus, so to speak, of Total War Attila. Now, what I'm going to do is just quickly take you around the game. We'll have a look at the various options and maybe we'll have a look at the battle, see how it runs. Anyway, so this is the starting menu and doesn't it look glorious? Reminds me so much of the Rome 2 start. You had all the soldiers and just brings back that kind of, and it's a lovely look as well. Anyway, so let's have a look at the options on the menu. So you've obviously got a chat menu up the top and you've got to start the prologue, you can exit, and then these are all the options you've got down the side. So you've got the option of doing the prologue, you can do a grand campaign, and you can do a multiplayer campaign, which as mentioned means one person hosts, the other one joins in, and you have the options to save. Now, you know, we'll obviously be doing things like that. There will be a multiplayer campaign with myself and Mal, and obviously lots of the other YouTubers that play Total War. So we're looking forward to seeing all of that. Now, you can see also there are historical battles, custom battles as per the normal, quick battles, and there will be leaderboards as well. And when we get some replays, we'll be able to look at some of those. Now, let's go in and have a look at the options on the graphics. So you can see at this current moment, you can see the resolution it's running at, whether or not you can play it at the recommended level or the custom level. You can run it in a window if you so desire. Now look at these options on the custom here. You've got unlimited video memory, you can do all this, and if you look at it and leave it over there, it will tell you exactly what that particular item does. So you can see controls the amount of detail in the terrain, you can say max quality or just quality. These are all things that you can change, and you can run a benchmark that enables it to figure out what is the best graphics for you to run. Now bear in mind, I am running this on a GTX 680, only a single card at the moment, it's not SLI'd, so we'll see how things go under those circumstances. And you can see that, look at that, you can even run it in 1024 by 768. Isn't that great? So you've got brightness and gamma. Now, the difference between those obviously is brightness change overall background. You see gamma there will actually change the brightness of the actual interface itself. Now, we can have a look at the controls. You can also see here all the controls that you've got. So they're broken down into the various categories. So you've got universal controls, campaign, battle, and advanced. Now, advanced enables you to create sort of like custom options for your buttons. You can choose how you want to have the camera, standard camera down here. You can then load and save your keys, change all the movement options. You can remove camera shake, which is a wonderful thing, obviously, and change all various things. So like, for example, do you have the mouse scroll? Do you want to invert the y-axis? All that kind of stuff that people do like doing. It gives you options to be able to change things around and just make things how you would like it to be. So you can play the game. You don't have to worry about fighting the game, so to speak, getting used to a mechanic that you're not used to playing. You can actually tailor it to your game style. Now here are the game settings. You can see campaign advice, battle advice. You can clear that. And you've got obviously the battle interface, so you can choose the scale of the markers when it shows it. All these kind of projectile trails, alliance colouring, which essentially enables you to colour it according to the player instead of like the faction colour. So it can make it easier to distinguish. So these are all the options here. You can see you've got the encyclopedia, of course. You've got the option to purchase the Viking Forefathers, but if you pre-ordered it, then you get the Viking Forefathers with it. And then obviously a return to the home screen. We're already at the home screen. So what we shall do is we'll just take a quick look at starting a grand campaign. Now these, you can see here the cultures that you've got the options of starting with. So you can start off with the barbarian kingdoms. You've got the Franks and the Saxons, and you can see here what those cultural traits are. You have various different benefits. So for example, they'll have integrity when raiding, they'll have income for every bit of damage caused to settlement, so that essentially means destroy stuff. And you've also got the Franks as well. Now the Great Migrators, so we're talking about here the Ostrogoths, the Alans, the Vandals and the Visigoths. So look at these wonderful fellows, don't they look fantastic? And it also shows you on the map here where they're based, so you can get an idea of what's going on. And it also gives you starting year and an idea of how hard or easy it's going to be. So you can change it here. So for very, or for legendary, for the truly hardcore like Lionheart. So these are all the options that you can have on here. You can see the Great Migrators, the nomadic tribes. There's the Huns. And as you can see, sort of the Hunnic hordes is sort of various area. And you can see Scourge of God. So they've got all these lovely horsemen of the apocalypse. I mean, look at that. Plus 20 food consumption. Basically, you're just going to eat them out of house and home, quite literally. Now, you have the Roman Empire. Obviously, you've got the Eastern and the Western Roman Empire. So there's the Eastern one based in Constantinopolis. And you can see those ones at Mediolanum. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go, assassinating the names as per normal, as you guys would expect. Now, we can look over to the Eastern Empires. There we go, the Sassanids. Don't they look fantastic? Look at that. So they have also additional benefits to them. Now, you can change campaign settings, so you can auto-save it to the cloud. You can have battle realism mode, and you can have, obviously, a time limit. And you can switch and change around things on that respect. So you can also see what your victory objectives are going to be. You've got, will you go for military? Will you go for a cultural? Will you go for a minor? Or will you go for a divine triumph? Ooh. So you can see you've got to survive, you've got to control 120 settlements, you've got to defeat 40 different factions. That is serious total war going on there. So, you know, you can just go for a minor victory, capture certain areas, research technologies. These are all the options that you guys will be able to choose when playing Attila Total War. Or Total War Attila. Attila Total War, Total War Attila. Attila, Attila, Attila. Anyway, so these are all the things that you can do, and these are all the factions that you can play. So what I will do is I'm just going to sort of play around with a few things, and we'll look at, for example, let's go into the Eastern Roman Empire, and but I won't show you the start of the campaign, the introduction and all the rest of it, but I will show you a few bits and pieces, campaign maps, all that kind of stuff, because I don't want to spoil the campaign for those people who want to play it in the first start. So we'll be right back. And we have returned. So we're in the campaign map here at this current moment. So you can see, obviously, great big huge map. Let's go to the tab menu and look at that absolutely huge map. You've got all these areas down in Africa. You've got Libya, and you've got all these areas over by Armenia. And these are all, obviously, places that you'll have to check. Look, there's good old England, good old Blighty. And you can see there that you know, so there's the breakup of the sectioning of the Roman Empire, so to speak. So you can actually also, you've got options up the top of here, so you can change whether or not you see military forces. You can change if you see the agents, and there's other things on here, like you can actually filter it according to diplomatic status. So you can start tailoring your strategy to actually go towards the players that are your enemies, or that they have a general disliking of you, like for example their attitude towards you. So if they're giving you attitude, you can basically go and shove a sword in their thorax. So you've also got public order, so you can immediately have a look in this particular map and tell immediately where your problems lie. You can also look at things like region growth. Now the good thing is I don't know if you guys remember when you used to zoom in on Rome 2, some of the icons would disappear. As you can see now, that's significantly better, and these icons here give you an approximate, because you're zoomed out on the map, location of where those settlements are. So when you zoom in, it gives you with a little bit more accuracy, so to speak. Now, one thing that is very nice in the top left hand corner, geographic mode. Now, you're wondering, what is the benefit of geographic mode? Well, if you look here, you can start to see mountains, clumps, and passes. So essentially what it means is you can do very important things, like you can actually seal off choke points into your territory. So you can say, oh look, there's a choke point there. Nobody's going to get through there because it's right by the sea. You could maybe put a small army there, but put your big army there, and a big army there, and a big army there. So it enables you immediately to see the lay of the land and how you are going to deal with things. So a very, very helpful thing when it comes to divining your strategy for world domination and general swordsmanship, and it's just a matter of how you decide to proceed. So there we have it. Not a lot of hills over there, but you know, a few up in Scotland. Anyway, so these are the options that you get on here. Now, diplomacy, pretty much as you would expect it to be. You have various different options. You can initiate diplomacy, and you can add, offer all these demands, break trade agreements as have existed in Rome, military alliance, create puppet states, which is interesting, and all the standard non-aggression pact things that we have come to know and love. Now, let's have a look at technology. You can see here that the technology and the research has actually been vastly upgraded compared to Rome 2. In Rome 2, it's a little bit more simplistic. Now it's gone back to the previous levels of complexity, I think you can say, and you have more options. Now obviously the good things that you can do on here is, say for example you think, oh, compulsory levy, I like that, click on that and it'll actually create a research path of where you want to get to. So you can immediately say, oh right, so that's 2, 7 and then essentially 18 turns to get to compulsory levy. So you can kind of build, almost to a certain degree, you can build yourself a plan of strategy when it comes to improving your technology. So you've got down here, you can see military 2, and then once you hit certain levels here, you can get certain benefits, as you can see, capacity, and down the bottom you can see tax rate, nationwide, faction-wide, all that kind of stuff. So these are the kind of things that you'll have options for, and you can see here all the various options that you've got for improved plumbing. So you're wonderful, and then these are the things that you can build. It enables you to build certain things as you continue to research. So that, as you can see, a lot more comprehensive, a lot more detailed, and giving you so many more options when it comes to playing Total War Attila. Now let's have a look under the objectives. You can see here the objectives. You've got all the various objectives. You can say victory objectives. You can have a look and you can go for divine triumph if you wish, but also all the various chapters that you will go through over the course of the game, and you can see here what rewards you'll get for them, so you can get an idea of what's going on. Now, when we look at the information relating to the faction, this has actually... Yes, shut up. This has actually been quite significantly upgraded. What you've now got here is a family tree. Now, that family tree enables you to do a lot of things. Obviously, you can marry people, you can create certain things, so you can actually go and find them. You can find out if there's any intrigue going on relating to this particular guy, secure his loyalty. You could assassinate him, maybe. You can, if he's a general who's doing really well, you can maybe diminish his popularity. You've got other options like, become a retainer. So essentially what you can do is you can actually assign one of your lower characters to become a retainer for one of your higher characters, and then they will benefit from their experience and exploits. And you've obviously got all the various offices. Now, what that enables you to do is you can actually create governors. Now, obviously, if you put somebody in as a governor, it will give you a benefit to that particular person, and obviously with respect to the particular area. So certain things will be dealt with. So that's all looking very good, and you can boot him out of office if you want to. So, you've got all these various people, you've got the primary information here, you've got areas and options to convert people. So you can go to Greco-Roman paganism if you want. Currently, as you can see here, it's currently Greek Christian, but it gives you all the traits, it gives you your diplomacy information, your imperium information, and what your current prosperity is. Records, if you set any records, you can see here, you can filter what those records are, and you can actually put in custom dates as you want to filter. Because if you're the kind of person who likes to kick a lot of bottom, then you're going to have a lot of events in here. So you might want to filter back to see your finest moments and things of that nature. And there you go, you've got an option to load a filter, and it will then filter those records. And you can even then upload those if you so desire. Anyway, let's have a look at stats. Obviously, as we've just started, there will be no stats in there, but you can see the current date, what current turn, and everything relating to what you have done while commanding your hordes, or your generals, or just general fun and games. So you can see here, total defeat, see land battle defeat. There's lots of information in here for you to splurge over, so to speak, if stats and things of that nature are your thing. Now, you can see here that we've got trade and finance, and this enables you to set your tax levels, and it shows you the tax level effects. You've also go to a quick summary, and it gives you a very quick summary of what your money is that you're getting relating to taxes, trade, looting, commerce, trading, and all the rest of it, and then what you'll have in the treasury at the end of the turn. Now, obviously, here is the trade partners. You can see this is a very helpful thing. It enables to see what you're producing and what you're importing. So even though we are producing wine, we are also importing wine. But if you hold your mouse cursor over it, you can see where we're importing it from and the value that you're importing it. So you can say, for example, you were going to go and charge in against somebody, then you'd immediately know, oh, right, so I'm going to lose the equivalent of that value, that resource value, and how many you're importing from my particular trade, when you basically go in there and shove a gladdie eye up their nose. Anyway, so these are all the things that you can look at in here. We've seen the technology and obviously the objectives. Now up the top you can see it's changed slightly, so you've got what's in the current treasury, the predicted income, it all used to be down here, and what the current food surplus is. And you can see the date and then all the various bonuses that apply to your particular faction. Now, you can see in the center, this is where they're going to have the spring and the summer, so it will show you the seasons. Now, bear in mind, guys, if you're going to be playing seasons, or you're playing it with seasons, so for example, summer is when you want to start having punches with your opposing numbers, because it's all very warm out there. So, you know, after you finish slaughtering the poor peasants, then you can sort of even up your suntan. In the snow, you're going to start suffering attrition if you're out there in the field. So these are the kind of things, you know, keep them indoors when it's winter, hold off on your plans, try and make sure that you're starting to move in the spring and the summer, and then try and get back, you know, sort of maybe even, you know, you could have this sort of spring, summer, autumn period, you know, for it's entirely up to you. But the point is, you need to bear in mind the seasons when you're building your campaign against your enemies. So over here, event messages, you can see in a single section. Forces, as before, you can see all your forces. You can click on them to go to them. You'll see various information as to the amount of stars, the size of them. This is all sortable as well, so you can say, okay, I'd like to see the biggest army. There we go, 900 men. That's these boys here. Now, provinces. Yeah, shut up. So you can see here province information along with how happy they are. So you can see these guys are currently importing food, they're exporting food, and you can see here public order levels. It's starting to maybe go down, so you can go over and have a look at, yes, go away, at the particular areas. So this is the options you've got for building. You can also see what the growth levels are for the individual areas, and there, for example, you can see that this building can be either upgraded or converted. Now, you can see over the top here what the sanitation levels are, whether or not there's any squalor, and also if there's lead. Now, one thing that is quite funky, let's just see if we can do that on here. So you've got these guys, and you've got also all your edicts, so you can choose all your various edicts as before, recruiting agents and various objectives. One thing you can do that is very nice, and you can see this nice fire effect that goes around the area of wherever you select, so that's very, very sexy indeed. You have various information, so you can toggle garrison details on here, so you can get an idea of, you know, how many garrison. Yes, okay, points made. As you can see here, you can immediately see what the garrison is, you know, what sort of boats you have, and also these guys here puts icons at the bottom, so you can see that these guys are swordsmen and essentially cavalry. So you've got swords, and you've got spears. So it enables you to sort out your troops very quickly in that regard. And another thing that you can actually do is when you go to your details for... Yes, okay, shut up already. When you go to these particular areas, you can see a building browser. You've got the options of going down. You can see what you require for the research, all these kind of things. You can also rename.
This panel shows statistical information.
Yes, I'm getting to that. You can appoint the governor, but it gives you additional information. You can see there, rename settlement, rename settlement. So if you wish, in the middle of your campaign, you could take a town like Calamadunum and you could rename it to something like Bumville. I don't know, the options are endless for how you want to play it. It's entirely optional as far as you're concerned, but the information here relating to it, there's so much information, what the current edict is, the security, the general level of religion in case you need to send somebody in to start converting, and all the various public order bits and bobs. So we're going to get on to a quick punch up and we shall return shortly. Hey everyone, I'm back, and we have to defeat the Hunnic army. This is a historical battle, so I just wanted to give you guys a general idea as to how it looks with respect to everything that's going on and the general battle. So you've got all these options over here. You can see the various benefits, and you can see essentially all these icons that tell you, oh look, you know what I think, maybe we need to get the spearmen up. So we can say, oh right, there we go, there are the spearmen. Let's move the spearmen up to that location, for example. And then you can say, oh right, here's all the lovely medium cavalry. So we'll take the medium cavalry and just run it over to there. The old option for waypoints also exists as well, which is good news. We approve highly of this, as the waypoints are required. Now you can see the map here, quite small, but if you click on that icon, you can make it bigger. Obviously not as big as some maps, but it's still pretty good. This is another wonderful option. You can command your troops from the overall line. And look, you can click and drag your troops to form a line. So you have that immediate overview. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? And immediately you can say, oh right, oh crikey, look what's going on over here. And you can turn it around. And let's see, you hold the middle mouse button and you can then pan it around. So you can see here the it's starting to be moved, or it's starting to push that particular area. So you could say, okay, bring them round here, and you've just got to be careful about selecting certain people. So you could, if you wanted to, literally just run the whole battle from here, if that's what you wanted to do. But as you can see, we're not going to have that option, as the Hunnic cavalry is basically getting in our face. So there we go. These are the various options, and you've got all the standard options along the bottom here. You can say, you know, click that, or you can still hold down the space bar. It will show you all the standard icons. You've got your speed icons over in the corner, so you can go fast forward, and you've got all the various advisor information, the chat if you want to, and the general balance and the time remaining in the battle. So you can see here, oh, hello, medium spear infantry, how lovely. So you can see, there we go, the icons even apply to the enemy. Oh, crikey, there's horses. Horses for courses, what's going on here? I'll go and stab people. They're starting to bore me already. So, I think it's only fair, as they are our allies, we should go and help them. I mean, it's just polite, really, isn't it? So you can see here all the standard options exist, and if you actually double click, you can see if you click a single, it's a single arrow. Double click for double speed, double arrow. And you can see here, oh look, click on that and it takes you immediately to their hidden units. Holy crap, there's a lot of them. As you can see, oh hello fellas. You're looking very Hunnic today, to say the least. And obviously things like insert will still continue to work. Hello, horsies! And all the usual thing. Now, press K, and it will, as before, hide the entire UI for those people who are loving their machinimas. And indeed they should. Indeed they should. Anyway, so that's a brief overview. A very brief sneakers peekers, so to speak, of Total War Attila. So, don't forget, it will be out soon. Be sure to pre-purchase, or wait for release day. Either way, there's a lot of fun in store. I'll see you next time, as everyone gets stabbed in the face. Cheers, guys.